You can also use your mic to answer the questions. Choose from the list of a compound. For those who just joined now, this is for last week mock paper set 1. So from a list of a compound, you have to answer these questions. Each compound may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Is a toxic gas produced by incomplete combustion of the carbon containing compound?
Carbon monoxide.
Good. So carbon monoxide is actually a toxic gas which is produced by incomplete combustion. So we have to name this to identify the compound. So I'm writing a formula, but in exam, you're not supposed to write formula here. You're supposed to write the name of the compound. So this is, for those who just joined now, this is a mock 1 chemistry. This is a paper 4 mock set 1. Turn anhydrous copper to sulfate. So what turn anhydrous copper to sulfate? What is added to anhydrous copper to sulfate?
Water.
So water is added because when water plus anhydrous copper sulfate, it will turn blue. Anhydrous copper sulfate is originally white in color, but because of the water, it turned blue. Then leads to deoxygenation of water in the rivers. Deoxygenation of the water is actually it's related to the growth of the plant in the water, and the growth of the plants enhanced by the three main elements which are known as NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So if anything is provided, the growth of the plant will be enhanced, means that a fertilizer is there. So calcium does not provide these elements. Carbon dioxide does not provide this element. Carbon monoxide, lead chloride, no. Propanol, no. Sodium nitrate, yes, it do provide nitrogen. Sodium sulfate does not provide nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So which of the compound provide these essential nutrients so that the plant will grow at a rapid rate, and deoxygenation of the river water so that the amount of dissolved oxygen as a plant will start to grow, the amount of the dissolved oxygen will also decrease. So that's why we have to write here a sodium nitrate. In aqueous solution, give a white precipitate on addition of acidified barium chloride. So when we add acidified barium chloride, it will form a white PPT. So we have a barium chloride. Which substance of barium chloride will react? So it will result in a formation of barium chloride. What it reacted with, it should be a sulfate. So when a sodium sulfate added, Na2SO4 is there. So this sulfate ion take position of the chloride ion. As a result, it will produce barium sulfate, and that barium sulfate is a white PPT. So which compound? So it should be sodium sulfate, which is Na2SO4, like this one. And an anion with a charge of a -1. Which anion is having a charge of a -1? Here oxide is there, charge is -2. It's not an ionic compound. This is a covalent compound. Here chloride is -1. Propanol is not a ionic compound. Sodium nitrate is there. Sulfate is there, SO4, but the charge is 2-. Sulfur dioxide is a covalent substance, and water is also covalent. So we want an anion with a charge of a -1. So chloride is there, the anion with a charge of a -1, as well as because another thing, sodium nitrate, if you see sodium nitrate, nitrate is also contain a charge of, it's also an anion with a charge of -1. So it is acceptable. This is a mock 1. Where is your notebook and everything? Okay, this is a mock set 1, paper 4, mock set 1. This question is about the metal potassium. This question is about the potassium. Is an element of a group 1 of a periodic table. Copper is a transition element. Two physical properties of the potassium that are different from the copper. So how
copper has higher melting point?
When you can refer to a melting
Higher
point.
greater.
Copper is having two physical properties of potassium that are different from copper. So potassium has low melting point, or vice versa, you
Low
can
density.
say. Yeah. So you can compare. This is the paper 4, mock set 1.
Basically, the first exam.
Yeah. So the density, one we can say a density of a potassium, the potassium will have a low density. And the second thing we can say a melting point, the melting point will also be low. And it will also be soft. English. I am recording, so I want you to speak English.
If you write about soft or like
Soft is acceptable.
brittle,
Yes, you can.
copper brittle.
Copper is hard, rigid, or malleable.
I wrote chemical properties instead of physical.
Yeah, you have to write physical properties. Complete the diagram in figure 2.1 shows the electronic structure of a potassium ion. So we have a potassium atom. The potassium atom is 2, 8, 8, 2, 8, 8, and 1. That is a potassium atom, which is having a 19 electrons. But it's a potassium ion, so if it's a potassium ion, it will lose one of the electron. So the configuration will be 2. The first shell, it will have 2. The second shell, it will have 8. The third shell, it is also having 8. And what is the charge? The charge is positive. Because it has lost electron. If a substance loses electron, positive, its gain electron negative. Metal is tend to form a positive ion. Metal never form a negative ion.
Because two boys are. I wrote like this is the only question that I'm sure that I made it true.
They will.
I have already done one line, so no need to resort there.
Table 2.1 shows an observation when 4 different metals react with the cold water. Cerium is there, it forms bubbles very slowly. Potassium is there.
This is by observation.
Potassium is there, forming rapid. Uranium is there, very slow, and vanadium does not react. We want to put these 4 metals in order of their reactivity least first. So vanadium is the first one. Then uranium is there. Because uranium is no uranium. This vanadium does not react, so no bubbles are seen. So it is the least reactive. Then you have a uranium, which is very slowly. Then we have a cerium is there, and then potassium is there. They will provide something. Without any information, you cannot solve such question. It will be given. Don't worry about it. It cannot be, because if by giving the element, the question does not make sense. Otherwise, they will give you an element of the same period, with same group.
Can a simple cell come for the reactivity?
What?
Can a simple cell come now for the
No, no.
reactivity?
English.
29.
Deduce the number of the proton, neutron in a copper atom. How many protons are there?
29.
29. How many neutrons are there? 65 minus 29, which is?
I think. Hopefully.
34, 36.
34. So can you write the
65, yeah, 34.
Can you write the
No,
calculation on the
not 34, 36. 36.
Okay.
Subtract 65 minus 29.
So
Yes.
can you do the calculations on electron?
What?
Yes,
Yes, you can. In the presence of oxygen, copper reacts with the sulfuric acid to form a copper 2 sulfate and a water. So, in the presence of oxygen, so there is an oxygen present, and a copper is reacting with sulfuric acid.
So can you write Cu?
No, copper is Cu, the symbol, chemical symbol. It is forming a copper sulfate. What is the formula for copper sulfate? Copper is 2 plus and sulfate is minus 2 or 2 minus. So the copper sulfate formula is CuSO4. plus water is there, H2O. First thing you have to complete the equation.
Okay.
Yeah, first thing, whites of 2 mark. 1 mark is for
Let's say if it is a gas, of course.
no. 1 mark is for completing the equation. 1 mark is for balancing.
The first one we ever solved, right?
Yes, and then I will discuss the second one after that. So we have to balance oxygen. How many oxygen are there? 4 and 2. How many oxygen I need on the other side? I need 6. So I will put 2. Oxygen is balanced because 4 and 2, 6, and here 4 and 2, 6. How many hydrogen I need? 2 multiplied by 2? 4. Here how many are there? 2. So if I put 2, hydrogen is balanced, but oxygen is not balanced now. No, but sulfate is 2. So if I include sulfate, so if I put 2 here, is it balanced?
No.
Copper is not balanced?
No.
What about oxygen? Hydrogen is balanced. Sulfur is balanced. What about oxygen? 2 multiplied by 4, 8, 9, 10. 2 multiplied by 4, 8, 9, 10.
It's balanced.
So oxygen is balanced. Yeah. Copper is also balanced. Sulfur is also balanced. All of them are balanced. So one mark, yes, you have to accept oxygen. Rest all of them will be 2. So 1 mark is for writing the completing equation. 1 mark is for balancing the equation.
Sir, why don't they mention that you have to balance?
It's always 2 marks. So chemical equation should always be balanced, irrespective of they say or they don't say.
If it is 1 mark,
Even it's 1 mark, equation must be balanced. Chemical equations,
what about the state symbol?
state symbol they will specify. If they need a state symbol, they will specify that write the state symbol. State symbol in this equation is not having any marks. If you write, that's fine. If you don't write, you will not lose a mark. This is question 2, part D, part E. What?
No.
Graph is at the end. Yeah, I will solve the whole question. Copper sulfate, yes.
Why do we write oxygen in the like
Order is not important. What?
I'm saying in the equation, why did we include oxygen?
Because they mention here, in the presence of oxygen,
Like in the presence of light, we don't.
because light, there is no chemical formula for light, but there is a chemical formula for oxygen. So if they say this reaction happened in the presence of a light, so what you will say, you will just on the arrow, you will write UV because you don't have a formula for the light. But if they say the reaction happened in the presence of oxygen, means oxygen is a reactant. If they specify any substance, then it will be a reactant. Copper can be used as a catalyst. State how the catalyst increases the rate of a chemical reaction. So catalyst always, what the catalyst will do, they will lower the activation energy. Name the catalyst used in the contact process. A common mistake about students wrote this vanadium oxide, but they wrote only like vanadium oxide. This is not the right. Because vanadium is having a variable oxidation number. You have to specify which oxidation number. So it should be vanadium pentoxide or vanadium 5 oxide. So it's very important that you write the oxidation number. Yeah, so it's very important that you write the oxidation number of the vanadium, okay? How we know the catalyst? You will know the catalyst by learning them. You have to memorize that the Haber process, it's iron. For contact process, it's vanadium. For hydration is a nickel. For hydrogenation is a nickel, and hydration is phosphoric acid is a catalyst. For formation of ester, sulfuric acid is a catalyst. So you have to memorize. Potassium manganate is an oxidizing agent. It helps to convert alcohols to carboxylic acid or oxidize the other substance.
So if they write in presence of potassium manganate, will we include that in the equation?
It should be included, but your level, you're not writing equation, redox equation. Actually, it is the part of a reactant, oxidizing agent. But when they say you're not including that, you're just writing oxygen. Instead of saying oxidizing like oxidizing agent, help in oxidation by itself, it is reduced, providing oxygen for the reaction. So you will, instead of writing the chemical formula for oxidizing agent, you will write oxygen there. But yes, there is an equation you will learn in A levels that there are equations for oxidizing agents as well.
So it is compulsory to put the.
Yes, it's in,
oxidation
yeah,
number.
oxidation number. For that's why I deducted marks. If you write because vanadium can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maximum. That's why. So give two reasons why copper is used.
Good conductor.
Good conductor.
Same thing.
Good conductor of electricity and malleable.
The physics is to answer. The F4
So in exam, I will tell them to provide you LCD screen rather than the A4 paper. Good conductor, malleable. Malleable means or ductile because it's a wire. So malleable or ductile is more appropriate as compared to a malleable.
So why not low density?
Low density is for aluminium. Aluminium is having low density.
Yes.
It is used for overhead cables, not for copper.
So all of the
Cheap and efficient is not the right term. It should be, you should specify, because instead of mentioning cheap and efficient, you should, because then we can use other metals also, but there is a reason that it is a ductile material.
It conducts 99% of electricity.
Yeah, good conductor of electricity. So you have to refer that.
I'm writing it, sir. I'm writing, but
Here in this equation, you have to write the state symbol. Writing a state symbol is having marks, okay? So what is the state of the metal? Metal exists as a solid. All acid and alkalis are aqueous. Most chlorides are soluble. Zinc chloride is soluble. And what about the hydrogen?
Sir, why?
So hydrogen is a gas.
2 marks for this.
Why it's of 2 mark? 1 mark is for completing a reaction for the like state symbol for the zinc, and 1 mark is for state symbol of hydrochloric acid and hydrogen. If all correct, 2 mark. If 1 mistake, 1 mark is. No, you don't have to add number. This
So
equation is
what about
already done.
molten? What do we write?
Molten, we write liquid. Liquid.
Easy, sir.
Look, in this question, yes, in this question, in the investigation, reaction of a small pieces of a zinc with a dilute hydrochloric acid at 25 degrees centigrade. Hydrochloric acid is excess. So if I change the hydrochloric acid, it will only affect the rate, but it won't affect the product.
Yeah.
Because the excess reagent can only affect the rate, but not the product. But if I change the limiting factor or a limiting reagent, it will affect both rate as well as.
Sir, I know chapter is lifting factor and reagent.
Chapter 4, chemical reaction.
Chapter, this is topic 6, rate, redox, reversible. The next is deduce the time taken for a beginning of experiment to collect 39 cm cube. So if you want to collect a 39 cm cube of a hydrogen, what you will do first, 10 boxes equals to 10, so each is representing 1, so this is 39. So you will draw a line. You have to clearly show on the graph. So when you draw a line, this is 39, and work out how much is a temperature time. So it is 150. So we write 150 seconds.
In the market scheme, is there like range?
No, exact number is there. Yeah, exact 150 is there. No range for discussion.
Range कैसा?
Because it's specific, like at 39, it is 150. The student repeated the experiment. No range is there. It's exact answer. The student repeated the experiment using higher concentration. So hydrochloric acid is already in excess. So if I increase the excess reagent, it will only affect the rate, but it won't affect the product. So the reaction will be much faster, means it's steeper, but the final product will be same. Some student changes like this, that reaction is faster and the final product is also more. That is wrong. Why?
It's like this.
Because
Is that wrong also? Yeah.
because we change the excess reagent. When you change an excess reagent, the changing an excess reagent only affect the rate. It does not affect the product.
But if we reduce if we reduce it less than
Even no, if you reduce the excess reagent, then also it will lower the rate, but not the final product if it is in excess. Limiting factor only, if you change the limiting factor, that will affect the rate and the product, both of it.
So it will be,
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I have a question. What if it is like this?
no, it's
Yeah.
wrong.
Which one? This?
No, the curve is the opposite. like
No,
this.
wrong. It should be same, but it should be higher gradient,
The
steeper.
stronger curve.
Steeper gradient, like higher gradient.
But same product.
Same product.
I mean, how will we draw the curve? So, more curve.
Draw the same, but it will be steeper. Steeper means greater angle in the beginning, but the final should be same. Okay, and label, like example, when you draw a graph, let's say this part, this is which part? 2 is there, B2. So you can write here on the graph, you can say this is B2, okay? In exam.
That is a little bit hard.
But try to pass O levels and A levels. The student repeat the experiment at 30. All conditions stays the same. Describe and explain using a collision theory how rate of a reaction differ at 30. Before temperature was 25. So now it is 30. So higher temperature, it's just a memorized. Yeah.
More particles will be higher than acid.
So higher temperature means more kinetic energy, more collision, more speed or kinetic energy, higher frequency of collision, greater number of the particles with energy more than activation.
Energy higher than
Activation, so form a more product.
Kinetic energy comes from thermal energy.
No.
No need to mention that.
It is lower.
The next is a sample of a hydrogen is put into a syringe, and the end of a syringe is then blocked so that no gas can escape. Explain using a kinetic particle theory why decreasing the pressure of a gas increases the volume when the temperature stays the same. What will happen?
Small particles, yeah.
So they spread out more as gas. Increasing metal.
So when we provide more space to the particle, the number of the collision decreases. So as the number of the collision, less particles collide at once, so the pressure will also decrease. Okay, or you can say more space for the particles, larger volume, greater space. So the number of the collision or the particle collision will decrease. Yes.
What about more?
They already mentioned here.
But what about we write more surface area?
More surface area. No.
So increasing the area
No, increasing a volume.
of the
And they mentioned volume is increased.
The center, what should we say?
So you will say when the volume increase, the number of the particles hitting the walls or hitting in our number of particles colliding with the wall decreases. So the pressure will decrease. You have to explain why it happened. They already mentioned decreasing a pressure when you increase the volume. That only you have to just relate the pressure.
Definition they give 1 mark. In giving symbols, they give 2 marks.
Yeah, it's easy.
Concentrated aqueous calcium bromide. So it contain a calcium ion, it contain a bromide ion, and it is a aqueous. Aqueous is there, HNOH. And we use a graphite. Graphite is an inert electrode, unreactive.
Why did you deduct my marks? I got graphite as an inert.
No, but sometimes they ask name an inert metal electrode. So that case you have to write platinum. Predict the product at each electrode. So this is a concentrated. Concentrated means more bromide is there. So which one will move towards the anode? Hydroxide or a bromide? The bromide ion will move towards. So what will the product? So at anode, what we'll have? We will have bromide or a bromine, you can say, because the product they ask. So product is a bromine. Bromide is an ion and bromine is a molecule, an element. Bromide is ion, but they ask for a product. Bromide ion will move there and it will form a bromine. So the final product is a bromine. At cathode, what will happen? Which will move towards?
What if we write only BR?
Predict the product. You have to state.
So I can write beer.
Then Br2. If you're writing, if you want to write a chemical, then bromine is Br2. If you write Br, that is wrong.
Sir, if they If an extraction of iron, if they ask for an equation, if you write it in word, will you lose the mark?
Depends on the distribution. Usually, the equation should be symbolic until unless they say write a word equation. Okay. At cathode, because hydrogen is less reactive, it will move. So what will the product at cathode?
Hydrogen.
So the product at cathode will be a hydrogen.
Simple results for one.
But if you write hydrogen, you should write H2, not H. Okay.
Hydrogen.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying if you're writing symbol, be sure what is the symbol of that element. Molten calcium bromide is electrolyte using a graphite. Construct an ionic equation for each of this electrode. First at anode, the bromide ion will move there. Br, bromine is -1, bromide. So means it will lose one electron and it will form a bromine atom.
Equals to Br plus.
Not equal, arrow should be there. I can write other way around as well. But bromine is a non-metal. So when two bromide ions are there, they should lose two electron and it will form
What is it?
Br2.
Like it says ionic half equation.
Means
Why is the full equation?
because full equation is when a molten calcium bromide produce calcium and bromine. That is a full equation. You are just separating what happened to bromide ion and what happened to calcium
And
ion.
it's only for bromine.
No, for calcium also we have to write.
No,
At anode, because this is a molten substance so which contain a bromide ion and a calcium ion. So you can also write this equation if you move the electron to the other side, and that is what usually written in exam. So they write equations like electrons. If it is gain of electron, loss of electron, it's written on the right, and if it's a gain of electron, written on the left hand side. So this is what is mostly written in the exam. Okay.
If you write it the other way around.
No, you will not lose mark. Cathode. Which one will move towards the cathode? The calcium ion is there. Calcium is +2. It will take 2 electron and it will form a calcium atom. For calcium, we don't have to write for a molecule because it's an atom. So like it's a metal. Metal can exist as an atom.
Yes.
How you identify oxidation or reduction?
I'm taking CS.
Okay.
So don't think I'm doing anything.
How you can identify oxidation or a reduction? If this is a loss of electron and oxidation is a loss of electron. So whenever oxidation happen or occur, the electrons are written on the left hand side or on the right hand side. If there's oxidation, the electron will be on the right hand side. And this is a gain of electrons, so this changes a reduction. So whenever a reduction happen, electrons are written on the left hand side. So when you see electrons on the left hand side of equation, it's a reduction. When you see electrons on the right hand side of equation, it is oxidation, means the loss of electron. Describe a test for aqueous bromide. How we can test the halide ion? We add nitric acid followed by silver nitrate or acidified silver nitrate. You can say acidified silver nitrate.
White PPT. White, no.
Cream.
Green PPT.
Green?
Cream color.
Green.
Acidified silver nitrate. What is the observation? You will observe a cream color precipitate.
So what's the color of chlorine? Like normal.
Chlorine,
In the gas.
cream precipitate are due to the silver bromide.
What is the color of
Cream color, off-white.
Yeah.
So
What
can you
about-
write this by
What about chlorine? Like the normal
Chlorine
stuff?
is a gas at room temperature which is yellowish green, but chloride ion,
So if we are
Flu-
pale yellow. it's a-
no, pale yellow is for fluorine.
Sir,
Yes,
what is the difference between the cream precipitate and the white? You showed us a video.
it's hard to distinguish. Yeah, when you do practical, it's hard to distinguish between the cream and the white. That's right, but we have to just state here. We are not
What is
doing.
the difference?
एक छोटा मतलब-
Can we add like no, for the halide ions you cannot add a bromide. You cannot add unsaturated hydrocarbon. This is always a test. Whenever you want to test a chloride, bromide, or iodide, it's always acidified silver nitrate, or you can also add lead nitrate. This will also give the same result.
ए, जो मैंने अपनी क्रीम खोली थी कैन कलर उसका कलर तो चिट्टा दिखता है
So cream color is due to the bromide formation.
If you
Now
write white, you'll lose.
you will just. So here be specific chloride white, bromide cream, iodide yellow.
What's the difference between cream and white precipitate?
The shades are different. What is the
Yeah, so
difference between a
problem
light
is
and a
creamy type होगी ना.
the color? What is this color?
Yellow.
Off white.
Vanilla, sir. Vanilla.
Yeah. So this is the same thing. What you will observe the precipitate of a bromide. What is the color of the chair you're sitting
So
on?
that's white.
White.
That is white. That is
क्या वजह से? ये cream है sir, वो white.
yeah. So it's hard to distinguish in the.
सर ये आपने कब सीखा बनाया?
This is according to the precipitate color of halides.
Sir, my glasses.
Top is-
study effect.
Top is chloride. This in middle is yellow. We have to find.
Sir, my glasses make it look like it's yellow.
नहीं tile cream है.
Yellow precipitate. The carpet is a yellow PPT. Okay. So calcium, in terms of movement of electrons, how calcium act as a reducing agent. The substance which acts as a reducing agent itself, it is oxidized. And the substance which act as an oxidizing agent itself, it is reduced. So what happened? Calcium atom turn into calcium ion. Atom turn into ion by losing electron. What is this change? Oxidation or reduction?
Reduction.
Calcium atom.
Oxidation.
So this change is oxidation. So for a substance which oxidation happen, that is what?
Reducing it.
Reducing agent. And same thing, zinc ion, like the charge was +2, it turned into zinc atom. When ion turned into atom, what we call this change? This change is called reduction. If this change is a reduction, what is zinc ion? Zinc ion is acting like an oxidizing agent. So for a substance which oxidation happen is a reducing agent, and a substance which reduction happen is an oxidizing agent. So the first thing in terms of movement of electron, how calcium act as a reducing agent. So yeah, calcium, how it acts as a, because the definition of oxidation is same as a reducing agent. So what happened to a calcium? Calcium lose electrons
Sir, now my
to
brain is
So I feel like calcium
zinc
itself gets
ion.
oxidized. And
But no, but the question is specifically movement of electron. So electron, you have to say what happened in terms of the, so calcium, yeah, calcium loses 2 electron or 2 electrons from calcium transfer to zinc ion. That you have to say. The question is, and when, remember one thing, whenever in exam you write about oxidation or reduction, you always try to use the term electron. If they are say define oxidation, you will write it's a loss of electron. If they ask define reduction, you will say it's a gain of electron. If they say what is oxidizing agent, you will, because it will be also the substance which gain electron. Because oxidizing agent is a substance which is reduced. And what is a reducing agent? The substance which is oxidized, loss electron. So whenever you mention oxidation, reduction, oxidizing agent or reducing agent, you always refer the electron. Okay?
brain is working in pocket automatically shut itself.
सर यहाँ क्वेश्चन इजी लगते हो वहाँ जिनकी तक
State oxidation number of zinc +2. So the charge on the ion is same as the oxidation number. So it is 2 plus or +2.
Scam करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
So
So what if they like?
very easy.
Sir, what if
Very
like
easy, sir.
say in specific?
Very easy, sir.
Just
Just
the surface specimen gave a compound which had three elements and they asked its oxidation number. How will we get that?
I'll come to that question. Because I have to give example to explain what you're asking. Sulfur belongs to group 6, so it will share 2 electron and unshared electron will be 4. Bromine belongs to group 7, it will share 1 and unshared electron will be 6. So mark distribution, drawing the shared electron 1 mark and drawing the unshared electron for each 1 mark.
तो ही तो मैंने बस
Sir, why did you say too much?
अगर तूने मेरी तरह
मैंने स्वर्ग कर दिया शरीर में. कॉफी में जल्दी
Figure 5.1 shows a displayed formula for compound A. Draw a circle around a functional group on a figure that also present in alkene. So we have to draw a circle.
Then why not the whole formula?
Which one? No, we don't have. The question is draw a circle around a functional group that is present in alkene. So we just have to circle the 2 carbon with a double bond. If this was the same question and they say draw a circle around the functional group which is present in carboxylic acid, so which one will circle? We'll circle this.
So what about
The name of this
alcohol?
compound? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 2-methyl butene oic acid.
सर नाम सीधा सीधा ये नहीं लिख सकते, नॉर्मल नाम नहीं लिख सकते.
It is having a branch, but did you use a molecular
So do we
formula?
have to write the branch name or no?
No, not at all.
It's this one.
So how many carbon atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C6. How many hydrogens are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's the first count here.
And how many oxygen are there?
2.
1 and 2. So C6, H10, O2. This is a molecular. What?
C6H9.
No. We just in a molecular formula, we just have to count the atoms. It's not about the bonds. C6H10, O2. Well, if this was the same question, they ask empirical formula. If they say empirical formula, then I got the molecular formula, which is C6H10O2. I'll take a simplest ratio. I'll divide by 2. So it will be C3H5O. But that they did not ask. I'm just giving an idea. A question they may ask by giving you a formula, that what is, by giving the structure, what is the molecular empirical formula.
Then they ask for molecular and what empirical. These are the mistakes.
Compound A is solid at 20 degrees. Describe the motion and the arrangement of the particle. So why motion is a vibrate about fixed position.
Closely packed.
Some student I saw that wrote in solid no motion. That is not right, because no motion is only at absolute, not slow motion. It's written no motion. So vibrate about the fixed position. You have to, and arrangement is there. You can say, you can use the term lattice. No need to say regular lattice, because lattice itself, arrangement particles are closely packed, orderly arrangement.
What about
Yeah. Orderly arrangement, you can say closely packed, orderly arrangement. Don't say regular lattice. Lattice is always regular. What?
Question हमारी book में तो regular lattice लिखा हुआ है.
No, actually, the term lattice, if you learn the definition of a lattice, the term lattice means it's a regular arrangement of particles. The term lattice itself means a regular. How? If I say regular lattice, it means regular arrangement of atoms.
Lattice of positive ions in the sea of
That is a metal.
Isn't this something?
if you write, like, if you don't write lattice, you write the
Regular
meaning of
arrangement. Yes, it's fine.
Regular.
So for motion, you cannot say random motion. You cannot say random motion in solid. Random motion you specify for gases.
That's why they did Brown's motion from chemistry. It makes more sense than in physics.
Alkene react with a hydrogen in the presence of a catalyst. You have to memorize these catalysts. So what is the catalyst used? We use a nickel as a catalyst. And draw a circle. Whenever alkene react with a hydrogen, that reactions of alkenes are all addition reaction.
They can only write lattice.
Sir, only you have to write Ni.
Which one? No, name. You are not. If they say name, you have to write a name. If they say,
Why did you write Ni?
because I'm saving a time, because I want to discuss the second mock as well. So I'm just trying to. Yes.
हमारे answers to this.
Sir, what was that one?
Which one?
This one.
Addition and catalyst is a nickel. Nickel is used as a catalyst. You have to memorize this. Alkene react with a hydrogen. Nickel is used as a catalyst.
Because the nickel is insoluble, just pick random.
Figure 5.2 shows.
To repeat here, that's एक mark कर दिया था मैं. Line दो lines की वजह से.
Only line.
वो आखिर में दो line की दो गई.
Answer for B1 is an addition reaction.